The gap between 18 and 25 is 7 years, not a long time by any external measure, long enough by every internal one, to produce either a man who looks back at 18 with genuine gratitude for what was built, or a man who looks back at 18 with the specific structural regret of someone who understands exactly where the gap in the current position came from, and cannot unknow it. The gratitude version and the regret version are not determined by talent or luck, or the circumstances you were handed at 18. They are determined by 7 years of daily choices that felt in the moment too small to matter. The choice about what the first hour of the day built or consumed, whether the hard thing was moved toward or away from, whether the money that arrived was directed or drifted, whether the skill was practiced or deferred, whether the promise made to the self was kept or dissolved. T'Challa understood before he needed to that the man who would one day carry a nation was being built in the years before anyone asked him to carry it, not in a single decision, not in the visible years. In the daily choices made in the invisible ones, the choices that produced compounded across 7 years, either the man equal to what was asked of him, or the man who arrived at the asking and found himself short. The gap between those two men was 7 years of daily choices. Your gap is the same window. Here is what determines which version arrives at 25. The man at 25, who thanks himself, built 4 things between 18 and 25 that produced no visible result in the first 2 years, and compounded into structural advantages by year 5. He built a physical practice, not a perfect one, a consistent one. The daily or near daily encounter with physical effort that produced, across 7 years, not just a body, but an embodied knowledge of what consistent effort over time produces. That knowledge is not intellectual. It lives in the body as direct evidence. The specific, non-transferable proof that showing up through discomfort produces adaptation. That proof changes how every subsequent difficulty is approached. Not with certainty of success, with the direct reference point of what staying produced the last time. He built a skill with compounding returns, something practiced daily that became more valuable the longer it was held. Writing, coding, design, sales, a trade, a language. Something that required daily repetition and produced. Across 7 years of daily repetition, a level of competence that someone who started at 23 cannot approach by 25, regardless of effort applied. The 7-year skill is not twice the 3-year skill. It is categorically different. The difference is not talent, it is time in the practice. He built the habit of financial direction, knowing where the money went, saving before spending, starting the investment however small, before the income grew large enough to make not starting feel urgent. The financial position at 25 that the gratitude version occupies is not dramatically larger than the regret versions. It is directionally different, pointing toward compounding rather than circulating. That direction held for 7 more years produces the gap that is visible at 32, and he built self-trust. Through small kept promises daily that nobody saw and nobody applauded, the track record of honoring the commitments made to himself in the dark, that track record, 4 years long by 22 and 7 years long by 25, is the most load-bearing invisible asset a man can carry into the decisions of the second half of his 20s. The man at 25 who carries the regret did not fail. He was not undisciplined by nature or deficient by character. He operated in practice mode, treating the years between 18 and 25 as the prelude to the real version of his life, rather than as the real version, and making choices accordingly. The first hour went to the phone because the first hour did not feel consequential enough to protect the skill was not started because the gap between current ability and desired ability was too uncomfortable to sit inside without a guaranteed outcome on the other side. The money circulated because the income did not yet feel significant enough to justify directing it. The physical practice was intermittent because motivation was the fuel, and motivation is not a consistent fuel. Stay with this. What comes next is the specific thing that separates the gratitude version from the regret version at 25. And it is not the size of what was built. It is something structural that the built things produce that the unbuilt things cannot. The gratitude version arrives at 25 with evidence, not results necessarily, evidence. 7 years of daily kept commitments that produced, compounded, the direct experiential knowledge that the man who shows up consistently across years becomes someone the man who did not, cannot match, regardless of the talent gap between them. T'Challa's preparation did not make him infallible at 25. It made him someone who had evidence that the preparation worked, who knew, from direct experience, what 7 years of directed daily choices produced. That evidence changes the subsequent decisions. The man with the evidence makes different choices at 25 than the man without it, because the evidence is not a belief. It is a fact in the body. The regret version cannot acquire this fact retroactively. It is only available to the man who built the 7 years. You came into this expecting a list of things to do between 18 and 25. The specific habits in the specific order that produce the gratitude version rather than the regret version. The list is not the variable. The decision is the variable. The decision that the years between 18 and 25 are building something, that they are not the prelude, but the build, not the corridor, but the room, is the single variable that determines which version arrives at 25. The man who has made that decision builds something because the decision orients every subsequent choice toward building rather than deferring. The man who has not made it produces the regret version, not through laziness, but through the specific frame of treating the years as temporary conditions rather than permanent material. Make the decision tonight, not the list. The decision that the years between now and 25 are the build. Everything after the decision is a choice that either honors the build or doesn't. The decision makes the choice visible. Without the decision, a choice is invisible until it's irreversible. Tonight, one honest question. Not the comfortable version, the honest one. If the version of you at 25 looked back at what today produced, would it be in the gratitude column or the regret column? Not the year, today. What did today build? If the answer is nothing, tomorrow is the first day of a different accounting, not a dramatic change. One daily practice, chosen because the man at 25 would be grateful for the 7 years of it, started tomorrow at the smallest possible scale. The physical practice, the skill practice, the financial direction, the kept promise. 1. Tomorrow. The 7 years begins on the day the first daily practice begins, and not before. T'Challa did not begin his preparation on a convenient day. He began it on the day the preparation was required, which turned out to be before the requirement was visible. The requirement will become visible. The question is whether the preparation preceded it or followed it. At 25, you will not regret what you tried and failed. You will regret the 7 years of daily choices that felt too small to matter and were not. Start one today. The gratitude version is built one daily choice at a time. One choice. Today. Not at scale. At the smallest possible starting size. The 7 years of it is what produces the gratitude. The first day of it is what produces the 7 years. Today is the first day. One question. What is the one daily practice? The specific behavior, not the goal, that the version of you at 25 would be most grateful you started today. Name it in the comments, present tense, as if it is already running. That sentence is the first daily choice, today. If this named the gap between the gratitude version and the regret version more precisely than anything else has, subscribe. More of this. The gratitude version is built one daily choice at a time. Start today.